Hello students, I hope you are doing good. Welcome to biology class. In the last video, we discussed the complex permanent tissues, that is xylem, concerned with the transportation of water and minerals from roots to upper parts of the plant body, and phloem, that is concerned with the transportation of food and other substances from leaves and storage organs to different parts of the plant body. In today's video, we shall start with chapter number 3, Improvement in Food Resources. Students, food supplies various nutrients like proteins, carbohydrates, fats, vitamins, and minerals. And all these nutrients are required for body development, growth, and health. Now, what are the various food resources to humans? Number one, plants, and number two, animals. The plants that are grown in the field for food are called crop plants. Only the plants that are grown in the field for food to humans and farm animals are called crop plants. Now we have two branches to study as sources of food. Number one, agriculture. Agriculture is defined as growing crop plants. The practice of growing crop plants is called agriculture, and rearing animals to obtain animal products like milk, meat, and eggs is called animal husbandry. So, these are the two sources of food to humans. Now, students, let's begin our discussion with plants as source of food. There are three types of crops. Number one, food crops, which are grown for food to humans like cereals, pulses, oil seeds, fruits, vegetables, etc. Number two, fodder crops. Fodder crops are the crops grown in the field for feeding farm animals. Some examples of fodder crops are barsim, oats, sorghum, etc. And the third type of crops are the commercial crops that are grown as a source of raw material for manufacturing other substances in the industries like cotton, jute, tea, coffee, tobacco, sugarcane, etc. So, plants as a source of food have three types of crops: food crops, fodder crops, and commercial crops. Let's first focus on food crops. Students, different crops are grown in different seasons. Why? Because they need different climatic conditions, and these climatic conditions are temperature, humidity, that is the moisture in the air, day length, also called the photo period. Now, based on the above factors, crops in India are basically of two types: Kharif crops and Rabi crops. Kharif crops are grown in rainy or summer season, that is basically in monsoon season, and Rabi crops are grown in non-monsoon or winter seasons. The climatic conditions required for Kharif crops are hot and humid conditions, and Rabi crops require cold and dry climatic conditions. The sowing period of Kharif crop is June July, and the sowing period of Rabi crops is October November. And the harvesting period of Kharif crop is September October, whereas harvesting period of Rabi crops is March April. Examples of Kharif crops are rice, maize, pulses, groundnut, soybean, etc. And the examples of Rabi crops are wheat, barley, peas, mustard, linseed, etc. So these are the basic difference between two types of crops based on different climatic conditions in India, that is the Kharif crop and the Rabi crops. The next topic that we are going to take up is, why do we need improvement in food resources? Students, we know that world over the population is greatly increasing. So, to feed the rapidly increasing human population, there is also a growing need for food resources to feed such large number of people. Now, to meet this demand, farming on more land is not possible. Why? Because our land is already intensively cultivated. Already much area of land is under cultivation. We cannot extend it further. So, the only choice that we are left with to increase the production is the use of high yield varieties of crops. Now, due to the sincere efforts of our scientists, we have witnessed various revolutions that has increased the production of food. We have five main revolutions. Number one, green revolution, that has increased food grain production. Yellow revolution has increased oil production. Blue revolution has increased fish production. White revolution has increased the milk production, and golden revolution is focusing on the increased production of pulses. Now students, the green revolution was achieved in our country by adopting three approaches, and these three approaches are: number one, improvement in crop variety, that is selecting seed variety for planting. Number two, management of crop production, that is nurturing the crop plants while they are growing in the fields. And the third approach is management of crop protection, that is protection of growing and harvesting crops from loss by both biotic factors as well as abiotic factors. Let us discuss these three approaches one by one in detail. Number one, improvement in crop variety. Now, this is the technique of bringing together various useful characters from different varieties of the same or different varieties of crop plants into one crop variety. It means that in this approach, the techniques are used in bringing good qualities, good characteristics of different varieties of crop into a particular crop. Now, the objectives of crop variety improvement are: number one, high yielding variety. We need such varieties that can increase the productivity per acre of land. Along with quantity, we also need quality. So the second objective is improved quality crops. We want crop varieties with enhanced nutritional value. It should have good taste and a long shelf life. Shelf life means for how long we can keep a particular crop without spoiling. That is called the shelf life. The third objective of crop variety improvement is varieties resistant to biotic and abiotic factors. Biotic are the living factors, abiotic are the non-living factors. Varieties of crop resistant to biotic factors. The biotic factors are diseases caused by bacteria, fungi, viruses, insects, etc. And the abiotic factors are drought, salinity, that is amount of salts present in the soil, heat, cold, etc. are to be developed. The fourth objective is early maturation. Early maturation means shorter duration from sowing to harvesting. It means a particular crop should take less time for getting mature to be harvested. This is very economical for the farmers as they can grow more rounds of crops in a particular year. The fifth objective is wider adaptability. Wider adaptability means a crop should have such a quality that it can be grown under different climatic conditions in different area. And the sixth objective of crop variety improvement is desirable agronomic trait. Desirable agronomic trait means it increases productivity. How? Since tallness and profuse branching are desirable characters for fodder crops. When we talk about fodder crops, there are two desirable characteristics. Number one, they should be tall and extensively branched, profusely branched. And when we talk about cereal crops, they should be short heighted. Dwarfness is desired. so that less nutrients are consumed by the cereals, and they can also withstand fast blowing winds without falling and without breaking the stems. So these are the objectives of crop variety improvement. Now, how the improvement is to be done? That is studied under methods of crop variety improvement. There are 4 methods of crop variety improvement. Number 1, hybridization. Hybridization means crossbreeding, and crossbreeding means reproduction between genetically dissimilar plants that have different genes or that are from different varieties is called hybridization. It is of 3 types. Intervarietal. Intervarietal means between 2 different varieties of the same species of plants. Interspecific, between 2 different species of same genus. Genus is same but the species are different. And intergeneric means between 2 different genera. The plants are from different genus. The second technology is recombinant DNA technology. Students, in this technology, a gene is directly introduced into the nucleus of plant cells, and the plants that are produced by this technology are called genetically modified plants, and the crops are called GM crops, that is genetically modified crops. The third technique of crop variety improvement is mutation breeding. Students, mutation means when a segment of DNA is altered by using chemicals or radiations. This is called mutation. So one of the methods is mutation breeding. In this, chemical mutagens means that will bring about mutation. Chemical mutagens and radiations are used to generate mutant plants with desirable traits. Traits means characteristic. And the fourth method is polyploidy. Polyploidy means adding additional chromosomes. Is the presence of more than 2 complete sets of chromosomes in the set. Extra chromosomes are added in the plants, and since we know that chromosomes are made up of DNA which contain the characteristic information, so when these extra chromosomes are added in the plant, they bring about the desirable changes in the plant. So these are the 4 methods of crop variety improvement: hybridization, recombinant DNA technology, mutation breeding, and polyploidy. Students, the assignment related to the topics that we have discussed today are available on the school website. You are required to answer those questions in your biology notebook, and in the next video we shall start our discussion with management of crop production. Thank you very much.